My name is Stan Copeland, and I'm the pastor of Lovers Lane United Methodist Church. Recently, one of our members shared with me a YouTube video of a virtual meeting that Bishop Scott Jones had with the members of the Texas Annual Conference. Then, a few days later, a man from the Texas Annual Conference, whom I haven't talked to in 35 years, sent me a video of a live meeting at Lakeview Camp, a place dear to my heart that helped to form my faith. I have so many wonderful memories of Lakeview. My distraught United Methodist friend said, "Believe it or not, we're having district disaffiliation seminars sponsored by the bishop and the conference office. And the pro-UMC materials and voices being shared are not from the predominant centrist perspective, but from the more progressive perspective of the North Central jurisdiction and the Baltimore Conference. It is as if they don't want to show the truth of the United Methodist Church going forward, because they want everything slanted toward the GMC and disaffiliation. It's a fight down here." The statement of wanting to bless every church in making their decision that I heard on the video would be perceived as less disingenuous, perhaps, if the assurance came from Bishop Jones that he had no intentions of leaving the UMC and or being a bishop in the GMC. Folks in Texas need to know that these so-called disaffiliation seminars are not going on anywhere else in the U.S. that I'm aware of in quite this way, namely being sponsored by the conference office, cabinet, and bishop. African bishops have come down hard on such disaffiliation gatherings. There were two conferences set to consider disaffiliation, South Georgia and Northwest Texas, and Texas was ready to vote on disaffiliation resolutions. But as Bishop Jones rightfully said in the webinar, there is no longer a legal path to disaffiliate as an annual conference. Here's another question. Is this really a binary choice that the bishop announced, either go with the progressive UMC and do same-sex weddings and receive gay pastors, or go with the traditional GMC, which will be a denomination living under a similar disciplinary statement restricting LGBTQ inclusion? I'll give this one a shot. It's not a binary choice. It isn't. There is a progressive denomination forming too, but it's not the UMC. We need to remember that the one church plan proposed by most bishops, with the exception of just a few, at the 2019 called General Conference, granted local autonomy to local churches regarding weddings and granted clergy the right to do weddings based on their convictions. The one church plan gave annual conference boards of ministry autonomy as well, related to ordination while holding to the highest standards of ordination. The plan made sense to what was upwards of 70% of the U.S. delegates. There was room for progressives and traditionalists, with the exception of those who only wanted it their way for all, on the right and on the left. However, since the entire connection of delegates were doing the voting, the conservative political machine went to work to stir fear with the deception among primarily Central Conference delegates. The machine promoted that under the plan, all churches would be required to do same-sex weddings and have gay pastors. If that were not enough, the false information of the plan, inviting disregard to the doctrinal standards and the Wesleyan ways, was also pushed with pre-conference retreats and cell phones. Unbelievable? Not really. Sad? Absolutely. It's been going on for years. I know, because sadly I used to help oil the machine. That's why the one church plan ultimately failed, though it was supported by the vast majority of the bishops, but not all, and even though it was supported by a supermajority of the U.S. delegates, it still failed. Plainly speaking, one size does not fit all anymore in the UMC, with our multi-cultures and diverse mission fields, if truly we are serious about making disciples of Jesus and transforming the world, and also addressing hot-button social issues, we have to realize that we think differently throughout the world. If I can be comfortable in a United Methodist Church with a church like the one I serve in Dallas, having a different approach and mission field to the UMC in Decatur, Texas, I'm good. And likewise, if being okay is okay with a church in Oaklawn in uptown Dallas that has a large LGBTQ congregational membership needing to do ministry differently still, I'm still good. And if I get that a church called Union that is full of young and many new and exploring Christians will have an even more unique view of making disciples and transforming the world than I have, I can be part of the large tent United Methodist Church. Now, I'm on my way to Tanzania to preach the annual conference there. My guess is that I will find another different perspective too. What does it say to our divided world when we can say, and we truly respect and have grace as a UMC for the differences that we embrace? Make no mistake about it. When the dust settles on this division, the true global church will still be the United Methodist Church, as it always has been. And we will have healthier ways of respecting different approaches. The decision is not binary. It never has been. And check those crossed fingers when people say it is. It is not really a progressive United Methodist Church or a traditional GMC church that is your choice. There are many of us who are traditional and centrists who see a clear place for us in the UMC, as always. And we will be able to sit down in love and respect as one church, in love with one another concerning the essentials. I hope this video is helpful. So thank you for tuning in. And if you'd like to share it, please do. And I hope that you'll continue to watch these YouTube videos that we'll be coming out with and subscribe to the Picklin Parson YouTube channel. Thanks again.